Hey guys, so today what we're talking about is writing equations of lines, which we already have done this a little bit. We're just going to kind of expand on it just a little bit more. So if we check this first one out, it's called slope-intercept form, right? We've seen that, we've worked with it. Hopefully you know that form really well now. The second one right here is called point-slope form. Okay, point-slope form is a little bit different, but I believe you should have still seen this before. The things here to note are that the y here and the x here, these are both variables. So both of these are variables. While the y1 and the x1 in these two cases right here come from a point x1, comma, y1. Okay, and then that's why it's called point-slope form, because we're given a point and then we also have the slope. So that should give you a hint of when we're going to use that form. Okay, standard form. Again, we've talked about standard form. Hopefully you remember that A always has to be positive. A, B, and C all have to be integers, okay? And what that means is no fractions, okay? So horizontal lines, y equals a constant. Vertical lines, x equals a constant. So we haven't quite talked about vertical lines as much, but just a reminder, vertical lines means x equals a constant number. What is the slope-intercept form of 8x minus y minus 6 equal to 0? So this is just asking us to change from one form into slope-intercept. Slope-intercept is when y equals to 0, so I'm going to move y over to when y is equal to the equation. So I'm going to move y to the other side. That would give us 8x minus 6 is equal to y. And then right here is our slope-intercept form. So it's a positive 8 and a negative 6. So then that would give us c. If the slope between points P and Q is 3/2 and the point P is located at 1, 1 and Q is located at K7, find the value of K. Okay, so this is an SAT question. SAT math is usually a little bit harder than ACT math, but we can do this question. We just have to think about what we need. We have a slope and we have a point. So it looks like point-slope form is going to be our best bet. So let's set that up. Point-slope form is set up, variable minus y1, which would be 1, is equal to slope, which is 3/2, times x, which is our next variable, minus x1, which is this other 1. It wants us to find the value of k. So we actually have another point that we can then plug into this equation. We have a y value of 7, so we would say 7 minus 1 is equal to 3/2. And then we don't know k, we don't know the x value, so we're going to say k minus 1 on the other side. And now we have this equation, which is one variable, and then we have the ability to solve it. So we're going to say 6 is equal to 3/2 k minus 1. I'm going to multiply both sides by 2/3 to get that 3/2 off. And then that would give us 6 divided by 3 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4, so we get 4 is equal to k minus 1. We add 1 to both sides, and then we would get 5 is equal to k. Okay, so the wording, a lot of words, right? Only a couple numbers, but we still figured out how to solve this question, and math speaking, it wasn't that difficult of algebra to do, okay? Hopefully, anyway. Next, writing linear equations in the specified form. Refer to the box at the top of the page if you need to, okay? So let's take a look at these. It says, write the equation of a line in slope-intercept form with a y-intercept of -2 and then a slope of 3. So this is our b value. This is our m value, so we actually have everything we need. So this is y is equal to slope, which is 3x, plus, or I guess in this case it's not plus, since it's negative, it's minus 2. And now we have it in slope-intercept form. The next one says, write the equation of a line with a slope of -1/2, and it goes through the point 2, -3. Point-slope form, thank goodness they asked us that first, because that's going to be the easiest one. Remember, it's the variable y minus y1. So y1 is -3, so it's going to be minus -3 is equal to -1/2. And then it's x, always the variable, minus x1, which is 2. So then if we simplify this, it would be y plus 3 is equal to -1/2 x minus 2. And there we go. Now using your answer from A, simplify to slope-intercept form. Okay, so this means we need to get the y by itself, and we can't have this parenthesis on the right side. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute the negative 1/2. So I'm going to have y plus 3 is equal to negative 1/2 x, and then negative 1/2 times negative 2 is going to give us positive 1. And then we subtract the 3 to get y is equal to negative 1/2 x minus 2. And now we're in slope-intercept form. Okay, using 4b, change to standard form. Remember, we can't have fractions. Okay, so now we have to change to another form. Standard form has x and y on both sides, so we're going to add that 1/2 x to both sides. And we would get 1/2 x plus y is equal to negative 2. Negative 2 here is okay. And then all we need to do is we need to get that fraction to become an integer. Okay, so in order to do that, we're going to have to take the left side and the right side and multiply it by 2. When we do that, we're going to get x plus 2y is equal to negative 4, right? Because 2 has to get multiplied by every single term on both sides, right? We would distribute this 2 into here. Okay. The next says write the equation of a line in slope-intercept form that passes through the points 5, 9, and 7, 11. Remember, you may not be able to go straight into slope-intercept form. So we have 2 points here. So the easiest one to use is not going to be slope-intercept form, right? Because 2 points here isn't necessarily that helpful to us. One that we could plug 2 points into is our point slope form, right? Because we have 2 x's and 2 y's. So let's scroll back down here, and let's do number 5. So we have 2 y's and 2 x's. So let's grab our y2 here. We're going to say 11 minus our y1, which is 9, is equal to m, because we don't know the slope yet. Okay, m times, and then x2 minus x1. Okay, and now we can take this and we can actually figure out the slope, right? So, in order to do this, we're going to take 11 minus 9, that's going to give us 2, is equal to m times 7 minus 5, which is 2. And then we're going to get a slope of m equal to 1. Okay, which that's great. And then we can go back to this, and now let's just use one of the points. So let's say y minus 9 is equal to 1 times x minus 5. And now we can convert this into slope-intercept form like it wants us to. So I'm going to just 1 times both of these things doesn't change them, so I'm going to add the 9 to both sides. We get y is equal to x. Negative 5 plus 9 is going to be positive 4. Bam, just like that. You could have also, instead of doing this, guys, you could have just plugged these 2 points into our slope equation, right, which is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Okay, you could have also done that. Next says write the equation of a line that goes through the point negative 6, 4 and is parallel to the line 3x plus 4y is equal to 7. It wants us to do this in slope-intercept form. Okay, so for this next one, it needs to be parallel. So that means we need to first find what is the slope of this line going to be. Well, we would subtract the 3x off, so we would have a negative 3x, and then we would have to divide it by 4, so divided by 4. So negative 3/4 is going to be our slope, okay? If you need to see that math, right, it would look like this. We would have 4y is equal to negative 3x plus 7, divide by 4, divide by 4, and we get negative 3/4 as the slope. Okay, so we have a slope and a point, so point slope form. We're going to go y minus 4 is equal to negative 3/4 x minus negative 6 is positive 6. Okay, or if you need to see that, minus negative 6, right? And then it wants us to take it to slope-intercept form. So that means we're going to have to distribute into here. Okay, I'm going to change this to positive just to make it easier for us. So that's positive. And then we have y minus 4 is equal to negative 3/4 x minus and then 3 times 6 is going to give us 18, so 18 over 4. Let's simplify that down. So we get y minus 4 is equal to negative 3/4 x, and then 18 over 4 is going to be negative 9/2. So then we can switch that. So that's going to be positive 8 over 2, right? Because we're going to add 8 over 2 to both sides, because 8 over 2 is equal to 4. Whoops, sorry. So then our final answer is going to be y is equal to negative 3/4 x, and then negative 9/2 plus 8/2 is going to be negative 1/2. And so then our answer is right here. Y equals negative 3/4 x minus 1/2. Okay? Next question. It says, write the equation of a line that goes through the point negative 6, 4 and is perpendicular to the line 3x plus 4y equals to 7 in standard form. Okay, here we go again. So we need to find this slope again. Actually, right, this is the same, 3x plus 4y equals 7. So the slope here is going to be negative 3/4 again. Okay, so it needs to be perpendicular, which means perpendicular is going to be opposite reciprocal, so now we're 4/3. Again, we have a point, so negative 6, 4, and we have a slope, 4/3. So what I would do is I would go point slope form once again. So we have y minus 4 is equal to 4/3 x plus 6. And then it wants us to get into standard form. So again, we distribute 4/3. So y minus 4 is equal to 4/3 x. 4/3 times 6, 6 divided by 3 is going to give us 2. 2 times 4 is positive 8. I'm going to add the 4 to both sides. That's going to give us y is equal to 4/3 x plus 12. Subtract the 4/3 x from both sides. Negative 4/3 x is equal to, negative 4/3 x plus y is equal to positive 12. And then to get rid of that fraction and that negative number, we have to multiply by negative 3. So that's going to give us 4x plus 3y is equal to negative 36. And then that would be our answer for a perpendicular line in standard form. Okay? Next says, find a horizontal line that goes through the point negative 1, 2. So horizontal is going like this through our coordinate plane. So that means the y value is the one that has to be constant. So then that's y is equal to 2. The next says, find the equation of a vertical line that goes through the point 4, negative 3. Well, vertical line is here, right? And it's going through an x value of 4, so that's x is equal to 4. All right, guys, last two. So, Josh bought 3 bags of potting soil and 10 bags of mulch from Home Depot. Write an equation to represent the total cost. Define your variables. Okay? So it says Josh bought 3 bags of potting soil, 10 bags of mulch. So I'm thinking if we want to write an equation to do total cost, we should have x equal to the cost of potting soil. Y is equal to the cost of mulch. Then if we take our 3 bags of potting soil and multiply it by the cost, and then we add that to our 10 bags of mulch multiplied by the cost, we should get a total cost, where C is equal to our total cost. If Josh spent $40.91 and mulch cost $2.75 per bag, how much was a bag of potting soil? Okay, so now we can use our formula. So we have 3x, because we want to find the potting soil, plus 10 times the cost of mulch, which is 2.75, is equal to $40.91. So then from here, guys, we're really just going to solve for x, right? So if we're going to solve for x, what we should do first is I would multiply this 10 through. So 3x plus 27.5 is equal to 40.91. Subtract off that 27.5. We get 3x is equal to 40.91 minus 27.5 is 13.41. Divide by 3 from both sides, and we would get x is equal to 4.47. And then that would be the cost in dollars, right? I'm going to put that dollar sign in there. The cost in dollars of our potting soil. All right, next one. It says a cab ride costs $4 plus $1.75 per mile driven. Write an equation to represent the cab fare. Define your variables. Well, let's say cost again. So cost we'll say is C. $4 is just for the ride. So it's going to be $4, and then it says plus, and then $1.75, so $1.75. And then usually when it says per, that's going to be what we're multiplying by. So X is going to be our miles driven, and then that's equal to our total cost. If Clay's destination is 17 miles away and he has $30, will he make it? So our question is $30, is that going to be less than or equal to the cost of the ride, right? If we're going 17 miles. So is this cost going to be greater than or equal to 30? So then let's just plug that into a calculator. 1.75 times 17 gives us 29.75. 29.75. Is that greater than or equal to 30? If we add 4 to it, well, that's going to be 33.75, greater than or equal to 30. So it looks like it is. So is he going to be able to afford his ride in this case? He is not. So he will not make it, because the cost of the ride is more than the amount of money that he has. All right. I hope those notes went okay for you guys. Again, if you have any questions, make sure you ask tomorrow in class. Have a great rest of your day.